Hey guys, Bo here at KG5 Media. I'm here with Chris Broadby. First off, Chris, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
So Chris is here, part of our 90-year celebration. We're going to get a profile of, his era. So first off, tell us about how you ended up playing for Glenorchy.
Well, I went to high school locally. I went to Rosetta High, which is now Montrose Bay High, I believe. And we used to have vacation cricket in those days. So just came down to Glenorchy, and all my mates came down as well, so that's basically the reason I ended up at Glenorchy. I grew up in the district anyway, so I supported the footy club, so I thought I'll go to the cricket club as well.
Some of the best players who you've played with and against during your time here?
There were quite a few. A few that spring to mind straight away. Brian Davison, who's a former captain of Tasmania, was a very tough competitor, always very difficult to bowl to because he was so powerful. Roger Woolley, a former Australian player, wicketkeeper batsman, very attacking player, again very difficult to bowl to. Ian Bevin was another name that springs to mind. He was a wonderful batsman and bowler for Clarence. I think he won four of the end of season awards, and also played for the state. Great competitor. Some of the guys I played with, Tony Wade, current president of the club, was a very good player. Greg Butterworth, Ian James, Don Holland, Bill Murray, Kel Coburn. Look, the names now that I'm remembering them. And in later era it was Roger Hughes, Tim Bauer, so many others.
Yeah.
That, at another time I could probably mention another 20 or 30.
So who are the memorable characters, I guess, like the real goofy people or the funny
Again,
people?
so many. Dean Cooper, former wicketkeeper, batsman for the club, was always an interesting character to play with, on and off the field. Bill Murray, a legendary opening batsman, was a great bloke. Brian Eade, father of Rodney and Greg Eade, was a former coach of the club, and a wonderful personality. Again, so many.
So tell us a little bit about some of your memorable moments here at Glenorchy.
Quite a few. Unfortunately, I played in an era where we were probably the second best side on many occasions. Clarence were the premier side and they won most of the premierships. But we did have some success in the one-day formats, and one of the best days we had was travelling up to Wynyard to play in the one-day state knockout state final, and we ended up beating Wynyard, who had some pretty good state players, including Sean Young. And I do remember it was a pretty good bus trip back. And later on, when I was assistant coach, we had some success in the one-day formats when Glenn Hughes was coaching. So it was always good to be part of those successful moments.
So what's changed since your playing days? Obviously now we've got T20. I'm not sure if that was around in your era.
No, I'm too old for that. Look, a lot's changed. The venue's changed. I didn't actually get to play on KGV. We used to play up at Edie Street. And of course, yes, T20 is a lot higher profile now. I gathered that they do play for premiership points with T20s. When I played, it was mostly two-day games with the odd one-day 50-over game tossed in for good measure, but most of the time it was the longer format of the game.
Alright, so nickname?
There are a few, but most of the time it was just Broado. And later on when I became captain, it sort of changed to Captain Surly, because apparently, I was a bad-tempered bugger sometimes.
Junior cricket club?
Look, I basically came straight here from high school.
Favourite cricketer?
Again, quite a few. I do remember when I was a kid in the backyard, I always wanted to be Ian Chappell, funnily enough. Then when I did get to meet him, I wasn't that impressed, but yeah, how things change.
Famous person you'd invite over for dinner?
Well, you've probably never heard of him, but he's a musician called Neil Young. He's been around a long time. He's in his 70s now, but I've always admired his music, and he'd probably be the first person that I would invite.
What's your hidden talent?
I don't know if it's a hidden talent, but I do play the guitar.
Okay.
And yeah, me and a couple of other guys, we play in open mic nights. Very amateurish, but we have a lot of fun.
Might have to make a band here. Biggest pest in your team?
Whew. That's a tough one. I'll say Dean Cooper again, only because after the game when he had a couple of beers, that's when he was really in his element.
Phone app you can't live without?
Phone apps. What are they? I'm too old to worry about stuff like that.
What do you love here about Glenorchy?
Look, I've always loved the club. I made a lot of long-lasting friendships when I played, so that's probably the main thing. I used to really enjoy the social side of things as well. We used to have a lot of functions, including, I don't know if you still have them these days, but we used to have a lot of fancy dresses. And I've got some horrible photos of me in some pretty ordinary fancy dress costumes. So yeah, they were good days.
So guys, I'd just like to thank Chris for taking the time out of his day to be here to talk about his era of the 9 years that we've been around. So make sure you guys are looking out for these videos, and I think everyone at home will enjoy them. So thank you, Chris, for being here.
Thanks, bud.
Thanks.